Beneath the scorching sands of the world's most desolate deserts lie hidden secrets, lost highways built by civilizations long forgotten. These roads, once vibrant with merchants, travelers, and armies, have now vanished beneath layers of shifting dunes. But who built them? What purpose did they serve? And why did they disappear? For centuries, deserts have been seen as vast, lifeless landscapes, incapable of supporting complex civilizations. Yet, history tells a different story. The Sahara, the Arabian Peninsula, the deserts of North and South America, and even the barren lands of Central Asia were once bustling with life. These ancient highways were not merely pathways in the sand, they were arteries of commerce, culture, and conquest. They connected cities, facilitated trade, and shaped the fate of empires. The mystery deepens when considering how these roads were engineered. Some were meticulously paved with stone, others were carved into the earth, and some were little more than compacted sand, yet they endured for centuries. Today, many remain buried, obscured by the relentless march of time and nature. But with the advent of modern technology, satellite imaging, and ground-penetrating radar, a new chapter in archaeological discovery is unfolding. Roads that were invisible to the naked eye are now being mapped with pinpoint accuracy, revealing lost civilizations and forgotten networks of human movement. Among the most significant ancient highways buried beneath the sands are the trade routes of the Garamantes in the Sahara, the lost extensions of the Silk Road through Central Asia, and the enigmatic roads of the Nazca civilization in the Peruvian desert. There are also the forgotten highways of the Nabateans, who once controlled the spice trade in the Arabian Peninsula, and the Chaco Road System, built by the ancestral Pueblones in what is now the southwestern United States. Each of these lost roads tells a story of innovation, adaptation, and survival in some of the harshest environments on Earth. But why were these highways abandoned? Was it the result of climate change, shifting political landscapes, or the decline of the civilizations that built them? Some researchers believe that many of these roads were deliberately erased, buried not just by nature, but by human hands, to conceal secrets of the past. Others argue that these roads could rewrite what we know about ancient history, hinting at forgotten trade networks and possibly even civilizations we have yet to discover. As archaeologists continue to unearth these lost highways, one thing becomes clear: what lies beneath the sand has the power to reshape our understanding of history. In the coming chapters, we'll travel across the globe, exploring these mysterious roads, the civilizations that built them, and the incredible techniques being used to uncover their secrets. From the vast deserts of Africa to the barren landscapes of the Americas, we are on the brink of revealing a hidden world that has been lost for centuries. The forgotten highways of the Sahara Desert, the Garamantes Road Network, the first desert empire's highway. Deep in the Libyan Sahara, beneath layers of shifting dunes, lies an ancient highway system that predates the Roman Empire. This is the Garamantes Road Network, a sophisticated system of roads that stretched for thousands of miles, connecting isolated desert settlements with the rest of North Africa. The Garamantes civilization flourished around 1000 BCE to 500 CE, long before the Sahara became the hostile, barren wasteland we know today. The Garamantes were not nomads but an advanced people who built underground irrigation tunnels, known as fogara, to sustain the desert settlements. These networks of underground canals allowed the Garamantes to cultivate crops, raise livestock, and develop bustling trade centers. But more than just survival, they thrived on trade, and their roads became lifelines for connecting the riches of sub-Saharan Africa with the Mediterranean world. These highways were not paved like the roads of Rome but were well-defined tracks beaten into the desert by centuries of use. They link major settlements like Garama, the Garaman's capital, with far-flung oases, gold mines, and caravan hubs. Some researchers believe these roads extended as far south as Lake Chad and the Niger River, allowing for the transport of gold, salt, and enslaved people to markets in Carthage, Egypt, and beyond. Archaeologists have uncovered sections of these roads that suggest an astonishing level of desert engineering, with markers, way stations, and even camel watering points positioned at strategic intervals. These highways made the Garamantes a regional superpower, rivaling even the Romans in influence. But despite their might, their civilization eventually vanished, leaving behind only the faint outlines of roads that once carried goods, soldiers, and traders across the Sahara. Trade routes of the Trans-Saharan network. The gold and salt superhighways. Long after the fall of the Garamantes, a new set of desert highways emerged. The Trans-Saharan trade routes, some of which were built upon the remnants of older Garamantes roads. These vast networks connected the powerful empires of sub-Saharan Africa, such as Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, with North African cities like Timbuktu, Cairo, and Marrakesh. The trade was centered around gold and salt, two of the most valuable commodities of the time. Gold from West Africa was highly sought after in the Mediterranean and the Middle East, while salt from the Sahara was essential for preserving food. These ancient highways carried massive camel caravans, sometimes stretching for miles, loaded with goods bound for the great markets of the Islamic world and Europe. The roads were more than just trade routes, they were cultural and intellectual highways. Along these paths, Islam spread deep into Africa, leading to the rise of magnificent cities like Timbuktu, which became a center of learning and scholarship. The Empire of Mali, under the rule of Mansa Musa, became legendary for its wealth, largely due to the immense prosperity generated by these trade highways. But these roads were perilous. Bandits, extreme heat, and deadly sandstorms were constant threats. Some sections of these highways had built-in resting stations, where travelers could find temporary shelter from the harsh desert conditions. Still, many who set out on these journeys never returned. Despite the dangers, these highways flourished for centuries, making the Sahara not a barrier, but a bridge between civilizations. However, as time passed, these once thriving routes began to fade, swallowed by shifting sands and changing economies. Theories on disappearance, climate, conflict, and the march of time. And why did these great roads disappear? Several theories attempt to explain their decline, and the answer is likely a combination of multiple factors. Climate change played a massive role. Thousands of years ago, the Sahara was not the lifeless desert we see today. It was a green, fertile landscape, with vast lakes, flowing rivers, and lush grasslands. This period, known as the African Humid Period, allowed civilizations like the Garamantes to thrive. But around 3000 BCE, the climate began to shift. Rainfall decreased, rivers dried up, and deserts expanded. By the time the Garamantes built their road network, they were already fighting a losing battle against desertification. By 500 CE, much of the Sahara had become the arid wasteland we know today. Without water, oases dried up, trade routes became more difficult to traverse, and many settlements were abandoned. The Garamant's underground water systems could no longer sustain them, and their empire collapsed. But climate was not the only factor. War and political instability also played a role. The rise of new empires, the spread of European maritime trade, and the fall of North African dynasties led to shifts in trade routes. The advent of coastal trade routes during the Age of Exploration meant that fewer merchants relied on the perilous land-based highways. With the decline of demand, many of these roads were simply forgotten and eventually buried by centuries of sandstorms. Modern discoveries, unearthing the lost roads of the Sahara. For centuries, these roads remained hidden, their existence preserved only in ancient texts and the stories of desert nomads. But now, modern technology is peeling back the layers of history and bringing these lost highways back into the light. One of the most significant breakthroughs in recent years has been the use of satellite imagery and LIDAR scanning to map the hidden landscapes beneath the desert. Researchers have used data from NASA's Landsat program and Google Earth to identify faint traces of ancient roads, confirming what oral traditions had long suggested, that beneath the sand, there are entire networks of forgotten highways. Archaeologists have also used ground-penetrating radar, GPR, to detect buried structures along these ancient paths. In some cases, researchers have discovered entire caravan rest stops, abandoned way stations, and collapsed fortresses, revealing the scale of the civilizations that once controlled these trade routes. One of the most astonishing discoveries came in 2011, when scientists uncovered a hidden network of Garamantes settlements using satellite imaging. This discovery challenged the long-held belief that the Sahara was always an impassable barrier. Instead, it confirmed that entire civilizations had not only survived but thrived in the region. Even today, the Sahara continues to reveal its secrets. In 2022, researchers uncovered a previously unknown section of the trans-Saharan trade route that had been completely buried beneath shifting dunes. These findings raise even more questions. How many more lost roads are still waiting to be found? Could there be hidden civilizations buried beneath the sands? With every new discovery, history is being rewritten. The highways of the Sahara were once thought to be lost forever, but thanks to modern technology, they are being rediscovered. What lies beneath the desert surface might not only change our understanding of the past but reshape the way we see the civilizations that came before us. As we continue our journey through the world's deserts, we'll uncover even more ancient roads, some stretching across Asia, others buried deep in the Americas, and some leading to mysteries that have yet to be solved. What other secrets do these lost highways hold? The Silk Road's lost desert route. It's the Silk Road's uncharted paths, hidden highways connecting continents. For centuries, the Silk Road was the backbone of global trade, a vast network of interconnected highways that stretched from China to Europe, linking India, Persia, Arabia, and the Mediterranean. These routes carried not only silk, spices, and precious gems, but also ideas, technologies, and entire cultures. Yet, much of this legendary trade route remains undiscovered, buried beneath the shifting sands of Central Asia's deserts. Unlike the Roman roads of Europe, which were well documented, many Silk Road paths were unofficial and constantly shifting depending on political control, natural disasters, and the availability of resources. Traders often used multiple paths to avoid bandits, hostile empires, and harsh weather conditions. Some of these roads became lost over time, swallowed by the deserts they once crossed. Others were abandoned, their once thriving cities reduced to mere whispers beneath layers of sand. Even today, historians are piecing together uncharted segments of the Silk Road, using satellite technology and ancient manuscripts to trace forgotten highways that connected Persia to China, Mongolia to India, and Arabia to Europe. These paths, once alive with caravans carrying goods worth fortunes, are now hidden beneath some of the most inhospitable deserts on Earth. The Taklamakan Desert's buried roads, vanishing cities in a sea of sand. And one of the most mysterious sections of the Silk Road lies in the Taklamakan Desert, a vast and deadly expanse in western China's Xinjiang region. The name Taklamakan translates to, "You can go in, but you won't come out," a chilling reminder of its treacherous nature. This unforgiving desert was once home to some of the most vital trade routes of the Silk Road, lined with bustling oasis towns and vibrant market hubs. Yet, over time, entire cities disappeared, swallowed by the sands, leaving behind little more than scattered ruins and ancient legends. The most famous of these lost cities is Lulan, a once thriving Silk Road oasis that mysteriously vanished over 1,000 years ago. Lulan was a critical trading and military outpost along the Silk Road, flourishing between the 2nd century BCE and the 4th century CE. It was strategically located near the banks of a large lake, providing a crucial water source for weary travelers and merchants. However, by the 7th century, the lake dried up, and Lulan, along with its roads, was abandoned to the desert. But Lulan is just one example. In recent years, archaeologists have discovered traces of entire lost road networks beneath the Taklamakan's shifting dunes. These roads connected a series of once thriving Buddhist kingdom settlements, now buried beneath the sand. The ancient city of Nia, once a prosperous stop along the Silk Road, is another casualty of time. Today, only scattered ruins remain, with researchers finding wooden tablets, documents, and artifacts that hint at a once sophisticated urban center. How did these roads and cities disappear so completely? The primary culprit was desertification, a gradual process where fertile land turns to desert due to climate change and overuse of natural resources. As rivers and lakes dried up, cities were abandoned, and roads once trodden by thousands of merchants and travelers became lost beneath dunes that can shift over 100 feet in a single year. Oasis towns and way stations, the forgotten lifelines of the Silk Road. In the vast, dry deserts of Central Asia, survival depended on oasis towns, small but crucial settlements that provided travelers with water, shelter, and supplies. These towns were the lifelines of the Silk Road, offering safe havens from the punishing sun, bandits, and endless dunes. But like the roads they once served, many of these way stations have also vanished, buried beneath centuries of sandstorms and neglect. One of the most significant was Dunhuang, an oasis town in the Gansu province of China. While Dunhuang still exists today, its ancient counterpart, the one that thrived during the height of the Silk Road, was far larger and more influential. Dunhuang's Mogao caves, adorned with intricate Buddhist murals, stand as one of the few remaining testaments to the town's former glory. Further west, the oasis of Merv, located in modern-day Turkmenistan, was once one of the largest cities in the world, acting as a major Silk Road hub. It flourished under the Persian and Islamic empires, yet today, it is nothing more than a sprawling archaeological site, with sand covering most of its ancient roads and structures. The oasis town of Palmyra, located in present-day Syria, was another vital Silk Roadway station, serving as a critical junction between the Roman Empire and Persia. This desert city, once filled with monumental architecture, bustling marketplaces, and grand temples, was eventually abandoned due to shifting trade routes and prolonged conflicts. The disappearance of these way stations meant the gradual erosion of the Silk Road itself. Without reliable stops for food, water, and trade, fewer merchants dared to make the perilous journey across the deserts. As the centuries passed, these roads fell into disuse, and the sands reclaimed what once made them great. Ancient mapping versus modern satellite technology. Rediscovering the Silk Road. For centuries, the lost routes of the Silk Road remained shrouded in mystery, known only through ancient texts, travelers' accounts, and scattered ruins. But today, a new generation of researchers is using cutting-edge technology to bring these buried highways back into view. One of the most revolutionary tools in rediscovering lost Silk Road paths is satellite imaging. High-resolution scans from NASA, Google Earth, and China's Grofin satellites have allowed archaeologists to detect faint, linear traces of roads hidden beneath layers of sand. What once required decades of painstaking excavation can now be mapped with unprecedented accuracy from space. In 2015, a team of Chinese and European scientists used satellite data and aerial drones to uncover a hidden network of Silk Road highways buried beneath the Taklamakan Desert. These roads had remained unseen for over 1,000 years, yet with the power of infrared imaging and LIDAR scanning, researchers could trace them with stunning precision. Ground-penetrating radar, GPR, is another game-changer in this field. Unlike traditional excavation, which risks damaging fragile ruins, GPR allows scientists to see beneath the surface without digging, revealing ancient roads, structures, and even entire cities buried under meters of sand. Even climate modeling has played a role in solving the Silk Road's mysteries. By analyzing historical climate data, researchers have reconstructed ancient river systems, helping pinpoint where key roads and settlements might have existed before they were consumed by desertification. These breakthroughs are rewriting our understanding of the Silk Road. What was once thought to be a single, well-defined highway is now recognized as a complex, ever-shifting web of trade routes, constantly evolving in response to climate, politics, and warfare. As researchers continue to uncover lost sections of the Silk Road, one thing is clear: the history of these ancient highways is far from complete. The roads buried beneath the deserts of Central Asia may still hold untold secrets, hidden cities, and forgotten connections that could reshape our understanding of one of the most influential trade networks in human history. The mysterious roads of the Arabian Peninsula, the Frankincense Route, the ancient superhighway of wealth in the heart of the Arabian Peninsula, hidden beneath vast expanses of sand, lie the remnants of one of the most lucrative trade networks in history, the Frankincense Route. This ancient highway, which once stretched from the lush valleys of modern-day Oman and Yemen to the markets of Egypt, Rome, and Mesopotamia, was responsible for transporting one of the most coveted commodities of the ancient world, frankincense. Frankincense, a hardened resin harvested from the boswellia tree, was more valuable than gold in its time. Used for religious rituals, medicine, and perfumes, it became a staple in temples, palaces, and even burial sites across the ancient world. The demand for this fragrant resin was so high that entire civilizations flourished along its trade routes. The Frankincense Route was not a single road but a network of highways and caravan trails, with key way stations providing water, food, and security for traders. The journey from Dhofar, Oman's ancient frankincense capital, to the Mediterranean took months, passing through vast deserts, rugged mountains, and hostile territories. One of the most famous hubs along this route was Shiza, Oman, a lost city believed to be the legendary Ubar, known in Islamic texts as Hiram of the Pillars. This city, often compared to Atlantis, was a major trading post until it mysteriously disappeared, possibly swallowed by shifting sands or collapsing due to the overuse of underground water reserves. Satellite imagery has since revealed the outlines of ancient structures beneath the desert, confirming that Ubar was indeed real. As trade flourished, powerful civilizations like the Nabateans and Syrians controlled segments of the Frankincense Route, imposing taxes and fortifying key roadways. Yet, over time, these highways vanished, abandoned to the relentless encroachment of the desert. The very roads that once carried vast riches became buried under centuries of sandstorms and forgotten by history. The disappearance of Nabatean roads. When the desert swallowed an empire, the Nabateans, an ancient Arab civilization best known for their breathtaking city of Petra, were masterful engineers. They built an extensive network of roads, connecting their desert empire with Egypt, Mesopotamia, and the Mediterranean world. These highways were paved, marked, and fortified, ensuring the smooth transport of spices, textiles, and, of course, frankincense. But unlike Roman roads, which were constructed with stone and mortar, many Nabatean highways were built using compacted desert materials, making them highly susceptible to erosion. Over time, as their empire declined, many of these roads became unrecognizable, overtaken by sand dunes and erased from the visible landscape. One of the most significant Nabatean highways was the King's Highway, an ancient trade route running through Jordan, Syria, and Saudi Arabia. This road was used by Nabatean merchants and later by Roman, Byzantine, and Islamic civilizations. Today, only fragments of this once thriving highway remain, hidden beneath modern infrastructure and layers of desert sediment. A major factor in the disappearance of Nabatean roads was the decline of the frankincense trade. As new maritime trade routes emerged, especially with the rise of Indian Ocean commerce, overland trade became less profitable. Cities that once flourished along these highways were gradually abandoned, their roads left to the mercy of time. Desertification played a crucial role as well. As rainfall patterns shifted and groundwater sources dried up, Nabatean settlements lost their ability to sustain large populations. Without people to maintain the roads, nature reclaimed them. What were once bustling highways became nothing more than faint impressions beneath the desert sands. Lost cities and hidden highways. The Petra connection. No discussion of ancient desert highways would be complete without Petra, the rose-red city carved into the cliffs of Jordan. Often called the Lost City of Stone, Petra was the epicenter of Nabatean commerce, serving as a critical junction where caravans from Arabia, Egypt, and Mesopotamia converged. The city itself was a marvel of engineering, with a sophisticated water management system that allowed it to thrive in the arid desert. But what many people don't realize is that Petra was not an isolated city, it was the heart of a vast highway network. Archaeologists have uncovered hidden roads leading in and out of Petra, some extending hundreds of miles through the Arabian desert. These roads were meticulously engineered, featuring carved steps, drainage channels, and even way stations where travelers could rest and replenish their supplies. One of the most famous roads connected Petra to Aqaba, ancient Isla, allowing the Nabateans access to the Red Sea and beyond. This route facilitated maritime trade, further strengthening Petra's position as a commercial powerhouse. Recent satellite studies and LIDAR mapping have revealed even more hidden highways leading to and from Petra, some completely buried beneath the sand. These discoveries suggest that Petra was not just a city, it was the central hub of a vast transportation network that stretched across the Arabian Peninsula. But why did Petra and its roads become lost? Historians believe that a series of devastating earthquakes in the 4th and 6th centuries CE weakened the city's infrastructure, causing many roads and buildings to collapse. With maritime trade gaining dominance and the rise of new powers, Petra gradually faded into obscurity. By the Middle Ages, it was virtually forgotten, its roads erased from maps and memory. Evidence of advanced engineering. What lies beneath the Arabian sands? The Arabian Peninsula's lost roads are not just remnants of forgotten civilizations. They are evidence of sophisticated engineering techniques that rival even those of the Romans. Recent excavations in Saudi Arabia have revealed hidden highways dating back over 5,000 years, suggesting that desert trade networks existed long before the rise of the Nabateans and the Frankincense Route. These roads, some of which extend for hundreds of miles, are lined with what appear to be stone markers and buried structures, indicating way stations or ancient fortresses. One of the most groundbreaking discoveries came in 2017, when researchers using satellite imaging uncovered a series of long-lost caravan roads leading to the ancient city of Al-Ula, home to the famous Madain Saleh, a Nabatean city often compared to Petra. These roads, once essential for trade and pilgrimage, had remained hidden for centuries beneath the shifting desert sands. Further evidence of desert road engineering can be seen in the desert kites, massive, mysterious stone structures found in Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Syria. These formations, some stretching for miles, are believed to have guided travelers or even served as traps for hunting animals. Their strategic placement along ancient highways suggests a level of planning and construction far beyond what was previously assumed. Modern archaeologists are now using ground-penetrating radar, GPR, to map these hidden roads in greater detail, revealing buried settlements, water reservoirs, and even underground tunnels. Some experts believe that many of these roads might still be intact beneath the sand, waiting to be uncovered. As technology continues to advance, we may soon unlock the full extent of Arabia's lost highways. These roads were more than just paths through the desert. They were the arteries of civilization, carrying goods, people, and ideas across vast distances. The stories they hold could redefine our understanding of ancient trade, engineering, and human resilience in extreme environments. The buried highways of the American desert, the ancient roads of the ancestral Pueblos, the Chaco Road System, in the arid landscapes of the American Southwest, beneath layers of sediment and time, lies an ancient highway system that once connected the heart of ancestral Puebloan civilization. This intricate road network, known as the Chaco Road System, is one of the most puzzling and advanced transportation networks of the pre-Columbian world. Located in what is now New Mexico, the Chaco Culture National Historical Park preserves the ruins of what was once a thriving hub of trade, politics, and astronomy. Chaco Canyon, the center of this civilization, was home to massive multi-story buildings known as Great Houses, some of which contained hundreds of rooms, unheard of in North America at the time. But what truly sets Chaco apart is its vast and mysterious system of roads, which radiate outwards from the canyon for hundreds of miles. Unlike modern roads that follow the contours of the land, Chacoan roads were engineered in dead straight lines, often cutting through mountains, valleys, and seemingly impassable terrain. Some roads were as wide as 30 feet, far larger than what was needed for simple foot traffic. What's even more puzzling is that many of these roads do not lead to obvious destinations, disappearing into the wilderness without explanation. For decades, archaeologists have debated the purpose of these roads. Were they meant for trade and communication, linking outlying settlements to Chaco Canyon? Or were they ceremonial pathways, designed for religious processions and spiritual journeys? Some researchers believe that these roads had astronomical significance, aligning with key celestial events such as solstices and lunar cycles. The Chaco Road System was built around 900 to 1150 CE, at a time when the ancestral Puebloans were at their peak. However, by the late 12th century, the civilization mysteriously declined, leaving their roads to be buried by time and erosion. Theories range from climate change and prolonged drought to social upheaval and resource depletion. Whatever the cause, the once great highways of Chaco faded into obscurity, their existence only recently rediscovered through aerial photography and satellite imaging. The lost highways of the Nazca civilization, paths to the unknown. And far to the south, in the coastal deserts of Peru, another civilization carved a mysterious network of roads into the earth, one that remains one of history's greatest enigmas. The Nazca people, who thrived between 200 BCE and 600 CE, are best known for their enormous geoglyphs, the Nazca lines, etched into the desert floor. However, what many don't realize is that alongside these famous figures lies a complex system of straight-line highways, extending for miles across the barren landscape. The Nazca roadways are incredibly precise, with some measuring over 5 miles in length without a single deviation. Like the Chaco roads, many appear to lead nowhere, vanishing into the desert without connecting to settlements or natural landmarks. One of the leading theories suggests that these roads were ritual pathways, used for religious ceremonies, processions, or offerings to deities. The Nazca depended heavily on seasonal water sources, and many of their geoglyphs, including their roads, are thought to be connected to water rituals. However, another theory posits that the Nazca roads were part of a sophisticated navigation system, designed to connect oases, trade centers, and ceremonial sites. Recent research has revealed that some of these roads link to underground aquifers, suggesting that the Nazca may have used them as hydrological markers to locate and distribute water in their harsh environment. What makes these roads even more puzzling is how they were made. The Nazca had no beasts of burden, no carts, and no advanced tools, yet they managed to create perfectly straight highways by removing the dark, oxidized topsoil to reveal the lighter-colored sand beneath. These roads have remained preserved for over 1,000 years due to the dry climate and lack of wind erosion, making them one of the best preserved examples of pre-Columbian road systems. Despite decades of study, the true purpose of the Nazca highways remains a mystery. Were they practical routes for commerce, or did they serve a spiritual purpose? As satellite imagery continues to unveil new sections of these roads, the answers may still lie beneath the desert's surface. Unusual road designs, highways to nowhere. One of the most baffling aspects of both the Chaco and Nazca road systems is the presence of roads to nowhere, paths that seem to extend into the distance without reaching any discernible destination. In the Chaco Road System, many highways abruptly terminate at cliff edges, leading researchers to believe they may have had ritualistic or symbolic significance. Some scholars propose that these roads were astronomical sightlines, used to track the movement of celestial bodies. Others suggest they were used for spiritual pilgrimages, where individuals would walk the roads as part of religious ceremonies. Similarly, the Nazca roads often end abruptly, sometimes merging with the famous geoglyphs or fading into the sand. Some archaeologists believe that these roads may have been used for sacred dances or processions, aligning with their larger religious landscape. In both cases, these ancient highways challenge conventional understandings of road building. Unlike the Roman roads, which were purely functional, the roads of the ancestral Pueblones and the Nazca seem to have served a deeper cultural or spiritual purpose, one that modern researchers are only beginning to understand. New discoveries using LIDAR technology, mapping the invisible highways. For centuries, these buried highways remained hidden, with only fragmentary evidence to suggest their existence. However, recent advances in LIDAR, light detection and ranging technology are transforming the way we study these lost roads. LIDAR works by firing laser pulses at the ground from aircraft or drones, allowing researchers to penetrate dense vegetation and sediment layers to reveal hidden structures beneath the surface. In recent years, LIDAR has been instrumental in uncovering hundreds of miles of ancient roads buried in the American deserts. In 2020, a breakthrough LIDAR survey in New Mexico revealed previously unknown extensions of the Chaco Road System, showing that it was far more extensive than originally thought. Some roads, long assumed to be natural geological formations, turned out to be deliberately engineered pathways, connecting outlying settlements to the Chaco core. Meanwhile, in Peru, LIDAR imaging has detected previously undocumented Nazca highways, stretching beyond the known geoglyph region. Some of these roads appear to be linked to underground water sources, suggesting a deeper connection between the road system and Nazca's survival in an arid landscape. These discoveries are reshaping our understanding of how ancient American civilizations built and used their highways. They prove that these roads were not just local pathways but large-scale networks with significant economic, cultural, and possibly religious importance. As more research is conducted, we may soon reveal even greater secrets hidden beneath the deserts of the Americas. Could there be lost civilizations yet to be discovered? Are there undiscovered roads that could rewrite history? The buried highways of the Americas still hold many answers, waiting for modern technology to uncover them. The Roman Empire's desert roads. Roman roads through the Middle East and North Africa, engineering highways in the harshest climates. The Roman Empire was known for its vast and advanced road networks, stretching across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. While much attention has been given to the paved roads of Rome itself, some of the most impressive feats of Roman engineering are buried beneath the deserts of North Africa and the Levant. These roads were not just pathways for merchants. They were military highways, trade routes, and administrative roads designed to maintain control over vast, arid territories. Roman engineers faced extreme heat, shifting sands, and the scarcity of water, yet they managed to construct some of the most durable roads in history. One of the most significant desert road systems was the Limes-Tripoli tunnel, which connected Roman settlements in modern-day Libya, Tunisia, and Algeria. This network played a crucial role in transporting goods such as olive oil, grains, and livestock from the African provinces to the rest of the empire. Fortresses and way stations were constructed at strategic points along these highways, ensuring the steady movement of soldiers and supplies. Further east, Roman roads link major cities like Palmyra, Petra, and Jerusalem, forming a critical transportation network that connected Rome's eastern provinces. These roads allowed for rapid troop movements, enabling the empire to defend against invasions from the Persian Empire and tribal uprisings in the region. Many of these roads still exist today, some repurposed into modern highways, while others remain buried beneath centuries of sand. Recent archaeological surveys and satellite imagery have uncovered previously unknown sections of these Roman roads, revealing the full extent of Rome's influence in some of the most challenging environments on Earth. The mystery of the spine roads in the Syrian Desert, military roads or lost trade routes. Among the most intriguing of Rome's desert highways are the spine roads, discovered in the vast expanse of the Syrian Desert. These roads run in nearly perfect straight lines for hundreds of miles through some of the most inhospitable terrain on Earth, connecting long-forgotten Roman settlements and fortresses. The existence of these roads has puzzled historians for decades, leading to a debate over their true purpose. Some scholars believe that these roads were primarily built for military use, allowing Roman legions to move quickly across the desert and reinforce distant garrisons. Fortified outposts, positioned at strategic intervals, provided shelter and supplies for soldiers traveling through the harsh landscape. Other researchers argue that these roads may have served a dual purpose, functioning not only as military highways but also as critical trade routes. The Roman Empire maintained extensive trade relationships with Persia, India, and the Arabian Peninsula, and these roads may have facilitated the movement of silk, spices, and other luxury goods across the desert. Unlike other Roman roads, the spine roads of the Syrian Desert are notable for their lack of permanent settlements along their routes. This suggests that rather than being part of a traditional trade network, these roads were primarily designed for military strategy, allowing for the rapid deployment of troops in response to threats. However, recent discoveries have complicated this theory. Ground-penetrating radar studies have revealed subterranean structures along these roads, including buried way stations, collapsed fortresses, and what appear to be ancient storage facilities. Some researchers believe that underground cisterns may have been built along these highways to provide much-needed water for travelers and soldiers. As technology advances, archaeologists continue to uncover more details about these mysterious roads. Whether they were built for conquest, commerce, or both, their existence proves the extraordinary capabilities of Roman engineering and the empire's ability to exert control over even the most extreme landscapes. Roman road construction techniques. Why some roads still exist today. One of the greatest testaments to Roman engineering is that many of their roads have survived for nearly 2,000 years, even in some of the harshest environments on Earth. Unlike many ancient roads that have been eroded by time and weather, Roman roads were built with meticulous attention to durability. Their survival can be attributed to a construction process that involved multiple layers of material, each designed to provide stability and resilience against erosion. A typical Roman road began with a foundation layer made of compacted earth, gravel, or crushed stone. On top of this, engineers placed a middle layer composed of larger stones to provide drainage. The final surface was made of tightly fitted paving stones or compacted gravel, creating a durable and smooth road capable of withstanding the wear and tear of heavy foot traffic, cart wheels, and animal hooves. In desert regions, the Romans adapted their construction techniques by using locally available materials such as limestone, sandstone, and volcanic rock. These materials were carefully chosen for their ability to withstand the extreme heat of the desert while remaining intact over centuries. In some cases, roads were built slightly elevated to prevent sand from quickly burying them, a technique that proved effective in delaying the encroachment of desert dunes. The engineering techniques used by the Romans were so effective that some of these roads remain in use today. In parts of North Africa and the Middle East, modern highways have been built directly on top of ancient Roman roads, following the same paths laid out by Roman surveyors nearly 2 millennia ago. Archaeologists studying these roads have found evidence of stone markers and mileposts, confirming that Roman engineers employed precise measurements and planning to ensure the longevity of their highways. Rediscovering Rome's desert infrastructure. How archaeologists are tracing these buried roads. For centuries, the full extent of Rome's desert roads remained unknown, with only a handful of well-preserved segments offering clues about the empire's reach. However, recent advancements in satellite technology and remote sensing have allowed researchers to trace these roads in unprecedented detail. LIDAR, light detection and ranging, has been particularly effective in revealing hidden Roman roads buried beneath layers of sediment. By using laser pulses to penetrate the surface, archaeologists can detect faint outlines of roads that have been completely erased from view. In the past decade, LIDAR has helped uncover entire sections of the Limes Tripolitanus, revealing a more extensive road system than previously thought. Satellite imagery has also played a crucial role in rediscovering Rome's desert infrastructure. High-resolution scans from NASA and European Space Agency satellites have allowed researchers to track the faint remnants of roads stretching across the Sahara, the Syrian Desert, and even the Arabian Peninsula. These discoveries are challenging long-held assumptions about the limits of Roman influence and trade networks. Ground excavations have confirmed some of these findings, unearthing ancient way stations, collapsed fortresses, and even inscriptions that indicate the presence of Roman military camps along these desert highways. Some of the most exciting discoveries include preserved wheel ruts embedded in the stone roads, proving that heavy carts once traveled these routes regularly. The rediscovery of these roads is more than just an archaeological curiosity. It is reshaping our understanding of how the Roman Empire managed to govern its vast territories. These highways allowed Rome to extend its power deep into regions once thought impassable, ensuring economic prosperity and military dominance in some of the most challenging landscapes on Earth. As researchers continue to map out these lost roads, new questions emerge. Were there even more hidden trade routes than previously believed? How many of these roads remain undiscovered beneath shifting sands? Could modern desert excavation techniques reveal more about Rome's forgotten infrastructure? The answers to these questions may hold the key to understanding the full scale of Rome's engineering achievements and its ability to maintain one of the greatest empires in history. How ancient roads were lost. Natural causes, climate change, desertification, and shifting landscape. For thousands of years, ancient highways played a crucial role in the rise and expansion of civilizations, connecting trade hubs, military outposts, and cultural centers. Yet, many of these roads have since vanished, buried beneath landscapes that no longer resemble the thriving regions they once supported. One of the most significant reasons for their disappearance is climate change and desertification. Throughout history, many of the world's great deserts were once far more hospitable than they are today. The Sahara Desert, for example, was once a vast grassland, filled with lakes, rivers, and abundant wildlife. The civilizations that thrived in this environment built extensive trade routes, connecting North and Sub-Saharan Africa. However, as the African humid period ended around 3000 BCE, rainfall patterns shifted, and the once fertile land dried up. Deserts expanded, swallowing roads, cities, and entire trade networks. Over time, shifting dunes covered these routes, making them impossible to navigate. The Taklamakan Desert, once home to key sections of the Silk Road, also experienced similar changes. Once thriving oasis towns like Lulan were abandoned as rivers dried up, leaving behind ghost cities consumed by sand. Without water sources, travelers had no reason to use these routes, leading to their eventual disappearance. Beyond climate change, geological shifts have also contributed to the loss of ancient highways. Earthquakes, landslides, and shifting tectonic plates have altered landscapes, cutting off once established pathways. In some regions, roads that once followed riverbanks or valley floors were suddenly rendered useless as water sources changed course or were entirely consumed by sediment. Human abandonment, the fall of trade networks and the collapse of empires. While natural forces played a significant role in the loss of ancient roads, human history also contributed to their disappearance. Many of these highways were not just paths in the sand but complex systems built to serve specific civilizations. When those civilizations declined or collapsed, their roads often fell into disuse, eventually fading from memory. The Roman road networks, once spanning thousands of miles, were some of the most durable and well-planned highways of the ancient world. However, after the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 CE, many of these roads were no longer maintained. The economic and military systems that had supported them collapsed, and as political control fractured, many sections of these highways became overgrown or buried under debris. Some roads continued to be used in fragmented sections, but without maintenance, many became impassable. The Frankincense Route, which had connected the Arabian Peninsula to the Mediterranean, declined as maritime trade routes became more efficient. As ships replaced camel caravans, the demand for overland trade diminished. Cities along these desert highways were abandoned, and without travelers to keep them clear, the roads were gradually overtaken by sand. Similarly, the Silk Road, one of the most famous trade networks in history, suffered from the collapse of the empires that supported it. When the Mongol Empire fell in the 14th century, the once protected trade routes became vulnerable to bandits and political instability. As maritime trade grew, merchants no longer risked the dangerous overland journey. The roads that had once connected China, Persia, and Europe slowly disappeared, buried beneath dust and sediment. Urban migration also played a role in abandoning these roads. As populations moved toward newly established trade hubs or sought refuge in growing cities, once thriving regions emptied out. Roads that had once supported vast economies became obsolete, leaving them to be reclaimed by nature. How roads became invisible, sandstorms, sediment deposits, and erosion. And one of the reasons many ancient roads remain undiscovered is that they did not simply fade away, they became physically invisible. The relentless forces of wind, water, and time have erased them from sight, hiding them beneath layers of sand and soil. In desert regions, sandstorms have been one of the most powerful forces in erasing roads from the landscape. The Sahara, Arabian, and Taklamakan Deserts all experience extreme wind conditions that can shift dunes by dozens of feet in a single year. Roads that were once used daily can be entirely buried within decades, leaving no visible trace of their existence. In wetter climates, sediment deposits have also played a role in hiding ancient highways. Over centuries, floods and landslides have carried mud and debris over well-worn paths, covering them under thick layers of soil. This has been observed in regions like Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley, where once thriving roads have disappeared under agricultural land and river sediment. Erosion has also taken a toll on ancient roads, especially those built on mountainsides or near coastlines. As natural forces wear down rock formations, pathways that once wound through valleys or along cliffs have crumbled away. Some Roman and Nabatean roads that were once carved into rock have eroded so significantly that they are now completely unrecognizable. Despite these challenges, evidence of these lost highways still lingers. In some cases, traces of compacted earth or faint outlines in satellite images reveal where roads once existed. While they may no longer be visible to the naked eye, modern technology is uncovering them in remarkable ways. Technology's role in rediscovery, LIDAR, AI mapping, and satellite imaging. For centuries, archaeologists relied on written records, local legends, and occasional luck to rediscover lost roads. But today, cutting-edge technology is transforming the way we locate and study these hidden pathways. LIDAR, light detection and ranging, has become one of the most powerful tools in uncovering buried roads. By sending laser pulses from drones or aircraft, LIDAR can map the surface of the ground in extraordinary detail, even penetrating vegetation and sand layers. This has been particularly useful in revealing sections of the Chaco Road System in the American Southwest, as well as portions of Roman roads in North Africa and the Middle East. Eye mapping and machine learning have also revolutionized the search for lost highways. By analyzing large datasets of satellite images, AI can detect subtle patterns that human researchers might miss. In 2019, a team of researchers used AI to identify previously unknown Roman roads in Italy and Turkey, proving that these tools can uncover significant new insights. Satellite imaging has provided some of the most striking discoveries in recent years. Platforms like Google Earth and NASA's Landsat program have allowed researchers to examine landscapes from space, revealing linear patterns and ancient pathways that had been forgotten for centuries. In the Taklamakan Desert, satellite images exposed hidden sections of the Silk Road that had been buried under shifting dunes for over 1,000 years. With every technological advancement, the picture of the ancient world becomes clearer. Roads that were once considered lost forever are now being mapped, traced, and in some cases, even excavated. These discoveries are not just reshaping our understanding of ancient civilizations, but also providing insights into how humans adapted to changing landscapes and built networks that shaped history. The deserts and jungles of the world still hide many secrets. As technology continues to evolve, it is only a matter of time before even more lost highways are brought back into the light, revealing the stories of the civilizations that built them. Theories, controversies, and hidden secrets. Were these roads part of a larger, global network? The controversial idea of ancient globalization. For centuries, historians have viewed ancient trade networks as largely regional, connecting neighboring civilizations rather than forming a global system. However, new discoveries of lost highways suggest that ancient roads may have played a role in a much larger, interconnected world. The idea that ancient civilizations communicated, traded, and shared knowledge on a global scale remains controversial, but emerging evidence is challenging long-held assumptions. Some researchers argue that the Silk Road, the trans-Saharan trade routes, and the Roman highway networks were not isolated corridors but rather pieces of a larger, prehistoric global system. The presence of similar road-building techniques across continents has led some to speculate that ancient civilizations may have had more interaction than previously thought. The discovery of South American plants, such as coca and tobacco, in Egyptian mummies suggests a transoceanic exchange, raising questions about the extent of ancient travel and trade. Further evidence comes from ancient maps, such as the Piri Reis map, a 16th century document that appears to depict Antarctica before it was officially discovered. Some believe that this map is based on much older knowledge, possibly gathered from civilizations that mapped the world long before European explorers set sail. If true, it could suggest that ancient roads, many of which remain buried beneath deserts, were once part of an extensive global trade and navigation system. Skeptics argue that similarities in ancient roads could be coincidental or the result of practical engineering needs rather than evidence of ancient globalization. However, as more lost highways are uncovered, the debate over whether civilizations were more connected than we think continues to grow. Advanced civilizations theory. Could lost technologies explain these roads? One of the most debated theories surrounding ancient highways is whether they were built using lost technologies that modern science has yet to understand. While mainstream archaeology attributes the construction of these roads to simple tools and manual labor, some researchers suggest that certain ancient road building techniques indicate a level of engineering knowledge that surpasses what was previously thought possible. The straight-line precision of roads such as those found in Chaco Canyon, the Nazca Desert, and even the spine roads of the Syrian Desert has raised questions about how ancient civilizations achieved such accuracy without modern surveying equipment. The ability to create perfectly straight roads across difficult terrain, through mountains, and over vast deserts, has led some to speculate that ancient engineers may have had access to advanced measurement techniques, possibly even forms of aerial mapping. Some alternative theorists propose that ancient civilizations possessed knowledge of electromagnetic energy, geopolymers, or even anti-gravity technology that allowed them to move and place heavy materials with ease. While this theory lacks hard scientific evidence, it persists due to the unexplained nature of certain ancient engineering feats, including the inexplicable alignment of some roads with celestial bodies and ley lines, energy paths that some believe were significant to ancient builders. The idea that a highly advanced civilization existed before recorded history has gained traction in recent years, fueled by the discovery of structures like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which predates the first known cities by thousands of years. If such an advanced civilization once existed, could its knowledge have influenced the lost highways we are only now beginning to rediscover? Secret tunnels and underground highways. Do hidden roads still exist? The possibility that some ancient roads still exist beneath the surface, hidden from view, is an exciting prospect that has fascinated archaeologists and alternative researchers alike. The idea that ancient civilizations built underground highways or vast tunnel networks stretching beneath deserts is a theory that remains largely unexplored due to technological limitations. Legends from cultures around the world speak of underground cities, lost tunnels, and hidden pathways that allowed people to travel vast distances without being exposed to the harsh elements above. In the Sahara, stories of secret passageways beneath the dunes have persisted for centuries, with some believing that hidden tunnels connect lost cities buried deep beneath the sand. In Central Asia, similar myths exist regarding underground trade routes used by the ancient Silk Road merchants to avoid bandits and extreme weather conditions. Recent discoveries suggest that these legends may have some basis in reality. LIDAR scanning and ground-penetrating radar have detected subterranean voids and passageways beneath some known ancient road systems. In regions like Petra, Jordan, and parts of the Peruvian desert, archaeologists have found evidence of underground storage facilities, water tunnels, and possibly even hidden roads that were used to navigate difficult landscapes. One of the most intriguing discoveries in recent years comes from Turkey, where an entire underground city, Derinkuyu, was found beneath Cappadocia. This city, capable of housing thousands of people, contained roads, storage areas, ventilation shafts, and escape routes. If civilizations were capable of constructing such sophisticated underground systems, could there be undiscovered tunnel highways beneath today's deserts, waiting to be found? While no definitive proof of underground highways has been found, modern excavation techniques and remote sensing technologies may soon provide answers. If these hidden roads exist, they could reveal entire lost civilizations and forgotten trade networks buried beneath the sands. Future excavations and what's next? The next frontier in uncovering lost desert highways. The search for lost ancient roads is far from over. As technology continues to advance, archaeologists are developing new ways to locate, map, and even excavate these hidden highways. The use of satellite imaging, AI mapping, and LIDAR technology has already led to the discovery of hundreds of miles of lost roads, but there is still much more to uncover. One of the most promising areas of research lies in the Sahara Desert, where vast sections of once thriving trade routes remain unexplored. The increasing availability of high-resolution satellite data is allowing researchers to map these ancient roads with greater precision, identifying patterns that were previously invisible. Scientists believe that as much as 80% of the desert's ancient highways remain undiscovered, waiting beneath the dunes for modern technology to bring them to light. Excavations in the Arabian Peninsula, Central Asia, and South America are also yielding surprising results. In Peru, teams are using drone-based LIDAR scanning to search for additional Nazca highways, hoping to determine whether they connect to long-lost settlements. In Jordan and Saudi Arabia, archaeologists are investigating newly discovered Nabatean roads that may lead to previously unknown trade hubs. Artificial intelligence is playing a growing role in these discoveries, with machine learning algorithms now being used to analyze historical maps, geological surveys, and satellite imagery. AI is helping to detect faint remnants of roads, allowing researchers to reconstruct ancient networks that have been lost for centuries. The biggest unanswered question remains: how many more ancient roads are still waiting to be found? Every new discovery reshapes our understanding of the past, proving that civilizations were far more connected, advanced, and capable than we once believed. If hidden roads beneath the world's deserts can still be uncovered, what else might be lying beneath the surface, waiting for us to rediscover? The impact of rediscovering lost highways, a new understanding of history. The rediscovery of ancient highways buried beneath the world's deserts is reshaping the way we understand history. For centuries, these roads were believed to be lost forever, erased by time, nature, and shifting civilizations. Now, thanks to modern technology, we are uncovering the vast networks that once connected great empires, proving that ancient societies were far more advanced, interconnected, and capable than previously thought. Each new discovery challenges traditional historical narratives. The vast Roman road networks that extended deep into the deserts of North Africa and the Middle East reveal how the empire controlled distant territories with military precision. The Silk Road's lost desert routes demonstrate that trade and cultural exchange extended further than previously imagined. The Frankincense Route and trans-Saharan highways prove that desert landscapes were not barriers, but thriving corridors of commerce and innovation. These roads are more than just remnants of the past. They are windows into how ancient people adapted to extreme environments. They show that long before modern highways and global trade, ancient civilizations were building the infrastructure necessary for economic prosperity and survival. As researchers continue to uncover more lost roads, our understanding of history will only expand, revealing new insights into how humans shaped the world around them. What more could be hidden beneath our feet? The potential for groundbreaking discoveries. The lost highways uncovered so far are likely only a fraction of what remains buried beneath the sands. Every discovery raises new questions. How many more ancient roads are still hidden, waiting to be found? Could there be entire civilizations, lost cities, and forgotten trade networks lying just beneath our feet? With new advancements in LIDAR, AI mapping, and satellite imaging, researchers are beginning to detect traces of ancient roads in places where no known civilizations were thought to exist. In the vast Sahara, Arabian, and Taklamakan Deserts, uncharted paths continue to emerge, hinting at networks that could rewrite history. In the Americas, archaeologists are mapping new segments of the Nazca highways and Chaco Road Systems, uncovering evidence of civilizations that may have been more expansive than previously believed. These discoveries are not just academic, they change how we view human resilience, engineering, and innovation. The existence of roads that defied the challenges of harsh deserts, shifting landscapes, and centuries of abandonment proves that our ancestors had knowledge and techniques that we are only now beginning to understand. The more we uncover, the more we realize that history is far from complete. The search for lost highways is far from over. As archaeologists and researchers push the boundaries of technology, new discoveries will continue to emerge, each one adding another piece to the puzzle of our past. Every lost road uncovered is a reminder that history is not static. It is still being written, one discovery at a time. For those fascinated by history, mysteries, and the incredible achievements of ancient civilizations, there has never been a more exciting time. As new roads are revealed, forgotten cities are rediscovered, and lost trade networks are reconstructed, the past comes to life in ways we never imagined. Stay tuned, because what lies beneath the deserts of the world may be even more extraordinary than we ever thought possible.